Technique Tuesday. So
don't we look lovely?
we are painting my scrap room. Woo! So carpets are coming tomorrow. Floor is gonna be here, and then we get to build my scrap box, So here's Technique Tuesday while we continue painting, and we'll see you a little later. Okay, so we are on to our next antiquing technique of this month. So we have that 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 that we had cut last week. And I'm pulling in some tri-blend markers here. Let's see. I want to get the one that's as close to our toffee as possible. So I'm going to take a few of these out. We're going to test it on some scrap paper. Look at the cute elephant. All right, so we're going to go with the muted brown because I think that's the closest. And then we're going to use the dark of the muted brown. So what we're doing today is we're actually going to be coloring some of the bright areas with a brown marker, a brown alcohol marker, and it's going to actually show that it kind of makes it a little bit darker. So I'm going to just take all of these fancier sections of the flowers, kind of the insides, and I'm just going to color right over them. And by doing so, it makes that paper a little bit darker, not as showy. And we're going to see how it looks in the end. So as you saw, I went over this one again. I might go over a few of the others because as the alcohol marker does dry, it tends to blend into the paper. So sometimes you got to go over it a few times just to kind of get your desired color. But as you see, it really did make a difference. It changes the look of that very bright and that clean paper and kind of makes it a little bit more subtle. Even if I wanted to, I know I'm using the muted brown. I could even take like the light version of the muted brown because it's still in the same color scheme or even the middle. And I just leave it how it is. But I could always take another color too and kind of color in between it as well to change it up a little bit. But you can kind of see that it defined the flowers a little bit more too. So you can always use alcohol markers on the stickers, on the paper, anything that you kind of really like. And it can change the look a little bit more. So if you see the sticker sheet here too, you could always, you know, highlight a little bit. Like if I wanted to put their story, I could actually kind of highlight story and go over it with one of the markers, or the legacy of love. I can color in a life well lived, you know, kind of not make it as that white tone. And we can kind of just do different things like that. Another really good one to do that on would be these strips, actually these photo reels. You can make these into that brown color. You could even ink them, to be honest, and get that tone so it's not as bright and in your face. Or if you wanted to change it in a different way, because we have the desert rose, the mink, the mist in here, you can always take those colors too in an ink or anything like that and color in as well. I know our antiqued pink also looks very much like the desert rose and things like that too. So you could take that alcohol marker and also color in the words or use it on their story, because this is a lighter version of that same color. So you can kind of use alcohol markers to make that pop. For this one, I would probably use the vintage blue or something like that, because that I feel like is more of the mist color. So you can use something like that to kind of help you go through these and, you know, color a little bit more on them. So as long as you have colors that are very, very similar, you could always do that. Like this piece here too, this is a lot of white and black. You could always throw in some of the muted brown or something like that on this as well. So like I said, you can always just, you know, highlight words, highlight the whole thing, actually kind of calligraphy out some of the words, which you've seen us do in the past and things like that. But, you know, just some food for thought about what you can do with alcohol markers and how that can help you antique a little bit more. Another thing I forgot too is if I wanted to take this, I can also outline things. So if I wanted to completely outline the flowers or the other embellishments on my paper, I can do that too. In the beginning, I just did the flower insides. I can always do this with the flowers that kind of have nothing on the outside. I could kind of highlight the entire flower if I wanted to, just to kind of make that brown a little bit more all over the page, and the white is a little bit more subtle then. So, you know, you can kind of do all of these little accent pieces and completely surround something. I actually like that look better. So, you know, how it's everything kind of has that brown tone around it now, and it's not just the white and the black. You kind of have everything covered. So you can see now that I've done more than half of the paper, how much of a difference that also makes it look. I personally kind of like this a little bit more. And when I get these little tiny dots in here, I can also just color the whole thing in, because you're not really going to be able to tell, you know? So if you wanted to color that in, maybe that one I would leave. But even these tiny little pieces on the edge, anything that I'm seeing that's black, I'm just highlighting around it, because it kind of gives it that antiqued look, and it takes away more of the white on the paper. So you really are getting a more vintage feel on your page. Also, this is great because I'm doing it in such a small thing. This could be a photo mat, or I can just use this as an accent on a page or a card. If you're doing a card, you might use a smaller space, anything like that. But also, if you are putting a photo mat on it, you only have to do this to the edges of what your paper is going to be, because then everything else underneath it is going to be covered with a photo. So if you don't want to waste the ink in your pen or anything like that, you can kind of just do the parts that are going to be highlighted where the photo is going to be shown. But Mom and I were kind of talking about it while I was coloring that, and we both like how this looks a little bit more, just because it does give more brown into the paper, and it defines the flowers, I think, a little bit more. If I hadn't gone into the edges and I had only done the center of the flowers, or if you have a design that has a full circle or something around it, you can definitely color the inside of that, and I think that would look better. But something like this, we like a little bit more with completely colored. So, yeah, I kind of really like how that looks. But make sure that you stay tuned. We have one more week of antiquing techniques, because we've got 4 techniques in this whole thing, and then we're going to throw it all together at the end. And that's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. But we got so excited yesterday that we totally forgot to record the ending of this. And guess what? We put up my scrap box. Yay! Carpets are going in now, so I'm so excited to show all of you guys. But maybe if you watch our outtakes, you'll see us putting together the scrap box.
Well,
you're there for like 2 seconds. But I'm super excited, and my space is going to be beautiful, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. But yeah, that's Technique Tuesday. So we'll see you next Tuesday, and then throw it together Thursday, because we're throwing all of our antiquing together. So, all right, see you next time. Bye.
bye. She's like, why you hold me? I want to be down.
What are you boss? Excuse me.
Yes, she's saying, don't talk, mommy.
Happy birthday.
It's yeah, bear.
Got the other birthday girl. Come here, birthday girls. Do the birthday girls.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, there you go. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Hi.
Baby. Hi. You're so cute.
Oh, how working she is. Whistle while we work. What time is it? It's scrap box time! Yay! When it begins!